Okay, I've got this Fusion 2 air rifle, and I wanted to quickly compare it to my old Fusion 1 and just kind of talk about the differences, and I guess there's some similarities too. Let's just go over some general information first about these two. This rifle right here with the scope weighs 5.75 pounds. This one with the scope weighs 6.9 pounds, so right at 7 pounds. They're both about 40 inches long. The Fusion 2 is like 40 1/4, so just slightly more than 40 inches. The original version is just a single shot. And to me, that's kind of aggravating, especially with a scope on it. It's kind of hard to always get your pellet aligned properly the first time. It's just sometimes you have to fiddle with it to get it right. The nice upgrade on the Fusion 2 is it comes with a 9-shot magazine. Still bolt action, but at least a 9-shot magazine, so you're not loading pellet by pellet. They both have a charging tube for CO2 air cartridges. Both of them use 2 standard CO2 air cartridges, and if you're looking at either one of the rifles in this configuration, the skinny end of the tube or the cartridge goes in first in the tube, and then the second cartridge will butt into it. You'll screw the cap down and you'll hear it release the pressure when the pin punctures the top of these tubes. The only difference with this Fusion 2 is you still can load it with both the cartridges just like I described with the Fusion 1, but you can unscrew this entire tube and you can screw an 88-gram cartridge in there and in theory have a lot more shots before you have to refill. But if you've ever played with any of these CO2 guns, in my opinion, sometimes they can be a little temperamental about leaking out sooner than they should. So I just stick with the cheap CO2 on the new Fusion, so I don't have to worry about losing a whole 88-gram cartridge. And another trick you can do on either one of these is, if you know you're only going to shoot a few shots, you know, you kind of hate to put 2 tubes in there and crack them, and no doubt they got holes in them. And so let's say you're not going to shoot again for who knows how long, and they did depressurize, well then you've lost both of your tubes. But just save an empty cartridge, and then when you load the tube, put your first full one in, and then take the empty one and butt it up to it and put it in there, and then just do the same process of tighten it down. But now you're only shooting with the pressure from one tube. It's not like it's going to change your shot velocity. It's just going to give you less shots. But if you're only going to shoot 10 or 15 shots and you set it down and then this thing drains out, well then you've only lost 1 cartridge instead of 2 cartridges. Sound wise, this one inside the shop at the muzzle had a decibel reading of 112. The old Fusion 1 had a reading of 110. To me, just in general, shooting them indoors, outdoors, wherever I'm shooting it, the old Fusion 1 seems to be a little bit quieter. When I've measured it, I haven't tried to mess with, I don't even know if there are adjustable triggers. I haven't even messed with any adjustments on them, straight out of the box. This one's a 3.5 pound trigger pull. Fusion 2 was a 3 pound trigger pull. Let's talk quickly about the magazine. It comes with a 9-shot magazine that you simply just rotate this counterclockwise. When you're looking at the clear part, you rotate it counterclockwise and drop a pellet in there. Make sure you don't hold it like this when you drop the pellet, because sometimes they'll fall right out the bottom. You kind of want to hold it at a little bit of an angle like that, so they'll fall in, but they won't fall out the backside. Loading it. Now you take this and you put it in there. Make sure your bolt's pulled back. Once it's loaded, you'll see this thing kind of has a recessed U-type area to it, and it indexes on a protrusion at the back of the breech here. You just get it in there, line it in there, and push it across, and that's what it'll look like. So on the non-bolt side, the kind of pointy area of the magazine is on this side pointing up, and on this side it sits flat. Then you can push your bolt home and you're ready to go. Pull your bolt back. Just kind of take your thumb, push on it. It's a little tough, but just kind of push your thumb in there, push it, pop it out. Another difference with this Fusion 2 is they give you a standard Picatinny rail to mount your optics or whatever you want to put on the top there. Whereas the old Fusion 1 just has that 11mm dovetail, which I think most people would probably like this better. I do. Holes about the size of my finger, going all the way through. Exit hole kind of small.